Every day it seems like former President Donald Trump finds new ways to draw global attention, and today was no exception. During an international summit surrounded by world leaders, Trump reportedly pushed for personal recognition over a major ceasefire announcement between Israel and Hamas. But that wasn't the only moment making headlines. A recently surfaced audio clip appears to capture a private exchange between Trump and Indonesia's president, raising fresh questions about behind-the-scenes dealings that are now causing major controversy at the summit. We'll break down exactly what happened, along with another hot mic moment involving Trump that's now circulating widely. Before we get into the details, please take a second to like this video, and if you enjoy our coverage, make sure to subscribe. It really helps support independent reporting. Now let's start with Trump's speech and the unusual comments he directed toward Italy's prime minister.
Italy, we have a young woman who's, I'm not allowed to say it because usually it's the end of your political career if you say it. She's a beautiful young woman. Now, if you use the word beautiful in the United States about a woman, that's the end of your political career, but I'll take my chances. Where is she? There she is. You don't mind being called beautiful, right? Because you are. Thank you very much for coming. We appreciate it. She wanted to be here, and she's incredible, and they really respect her in Italy. She's a very successful politician.
You can see Prime Minister Meloni standing behind Donald Trump, looking noticeably uneasy throughout the exchange. And that wasn't the only moment where she appeared uncomfortable during discussions involving the former president. This kind of situation has become somewhat familiar. Trump often makes offhand remarks about reporters or officials, sometimes commenting on their appearance in a way that draws attention online. It's part of the unusual dynamic he creates when interacting with other world leaders, focusing on personal traits and making bold statements about how much they admire him. Though at times, some leaders do seem to play along with that energy. Take another look at Meloni's reaction when the president of Pakistan began talking about why Trump should be considered for a peace prize.
I would say that Pakistan had nominated President Donald Trump for Nobel Peace Prize for his outstanding, extraordinary contributions to first stop war between India and Pakistan and then achieve ceasefire along with his very wonderful team. And today, again, I would like to nominate this great president for Nobel Peace Prize.
So clearly, Prime Minister Meloni looked uncomfortable. And honestly, many people in the room seemed unsure how to react. The discussion then turned to the idea of Donald Trump deserving a Nobel Peace Prize, which sparked plenty of debate. To be fair, any peace agreement, especially one involving Israel and Hamas, should be judged by one standard, whether it actually lasts. Real peace in the region and globally depends on long-term stability, not just short-term announcements. I'm not ready to celebrate this deal just yet. The real test will be whether it's enforced and whether people on the ground remain safe. Given the unpredictable nature of the current administration, that remains to be seen. Take a listen to this next moment, which happened right before the first hot mic exchange with Mark Carney.
So you have Armenia and you have Bahrain, you have Canada. It's so great to have, in fact, the president called and he wanted to know if it's worthwhile. He knew exactly what it was. He knew the importance. Where's Canada, by the way? Where are you? Where are you? He knew the importance of this. He said, I want to be there. So many people have done that. They called. I mean, they heard about it. And these are not people that can do that very easily. They have pretty big schedules, to put it mildly. The most powerful people. And I appreciate you being here very much, Mr. President. Fantastic. Fantastic. And Cyprus.
We've heard a lot of discussion lately about Donald Trump's mental sharpness, and moments like this one certainly raise questions. At one point, he seemed confused while talking about Canada, stumbling over his words and appearing unsure of what he was trying to say. It's another example of how frequently he seems disconnected from the setting around him. Now, credit where it's due. At least he didn't take a shot at Canada this time. But what stood out most was how former Bank of England Governor Mark Carney, much like other world figures, managed to put Trump on the defensive during their exchange. Before we get to the hot mic recording that drew attention for other reasons, let's first take a look at this earlier moment, the one that really showed how uneasy Trump can get when pressed.
Thanks. So you going back?
I'll go back to Mexico. I'm glad you upgraded me to president.
Oh, did I say?
Great stuff. It's good. I started as a
We said inside.
Great stuff. That was great.
I really just love Mark Carney going up to Trump and be like, yeah, I'm not the governor. So, thank you for addressing me with my real title. It's not Governor Carney. You're not buying Canada. It's not your 51st state. You're not invading. Stop it. Shut up. We've had enough. Be on your best behavior, Donald. But that hot mic moment was funny. It wasn't corrupt and criminal, but what was this right here? And I want to read the tweet from Aaron Rupar before we listen to a little bit of the video because it's tough to hear, but he shows it all. Trump's conversation with Indonesian president is caught on a hot mic. Hard to tell exactly what they are talking about, but the president asked Trump about meeting Eric Trump and Don Jr., who supposedly have nothing to do with the government while they run the family business. And as you can hear in the clip, the president asks about getting a better price. Excuse me. Where is the Hunter Biden outrage? It is so clear that Donald Trump's sons, who run an exclusive club in D.C. that costs $500,000 to join, I think it's called like the executive branch or the executive club or something stupid and so on the nose with how corrupt they are. It is like Tom Holman took a bag, a Cava bag, a takeout bag with $50,000 in cash in it. And Don and Eric are running this club with a $500,000 entrance fee in which they promise you get to talk to people in the cabinet. And we have presidents of nations coming up to Donald Trump to ask to talk to his two idiot sons, not to get their take on foreign policy or trade, but so that they can have the ear of the president by delivering millions, if not billions of dollars to his kids' businesses, which ultimately Donald Trump is really in control of. That is what we are seeing right now. Asking to get a better price. Like there's a million things that they could be talking about. But Chris Murphy recently spoke about the corruption within the Trump family, and I think it is this that they're talking about.
The most corrupt White House in the history of the universe. Sometimes you see the corruption in reverse. Sometimes you see it in real time. Sometimes you see the corruption before it happens. And let me explain to you a corruption story that is in process. So, you know, the Department of Defense is going to be making tons of drones and buying a lot of drones in the coming decade. We've seen how lethal and effective they are in warfare in Ukraine. And so it won't shock you to find out that the Trump family has decided to get into the business of building drones. Specifically, Donald Trump Jr. just went on the advisory board of a very small drone company called Unusual Machines based out of Florida. And as soon as he went on the board, guess what happened? The stock price of this company doubled, like overnight. Because, you know, in this environment, in this White House, everybody knows when the fix is about to be in. And so as the Department of Defense starts to ramp up the amount of money that it's going to be spending on drones, don't be shocked or surprised when a very small drone manufacturer out of Florida called Unusual Machines starts to win bids. This is what's going on in this administration. They are just scooping up federal resources and federal contracts and delivering them to their friends, to their political allies, and often just to their family members. Sometimes you don't learn about it until after it's happened, but sometimes you see it coming. And I'm just telling you, we all see this one coming. Unusual Machines, a small company out of Florida, I think is pretty soon going to be in the big business of federal drone contracts.
So let's be clear. Accountability matters. After facing serious investigations and consequences for his actions surrounding the events of January 6th and the transition of power, it's astonishing to now see new reports of large-scale financial ventures connected to the Trump family, including cryptocurrency projects worth billions. It raises real questions about ethics, transparency, and influence, especially when foreign leaders appear to be involved in financial dealings linked to these networks. This kind of behavior feels deeply troubling for a democracy. When powerful families or political figures can use money and influence to shape decisions, it undermines public trust. And it's not just one side. This is a bipartisan problem. We've seen examples across the political spectrum where special interests, whether tied to crypto, energy, or foreign policy, have too much control over our government. That's not how democracy should function. If our leaders aren't willing to stand up against corruption and corporate influence, then they shouldn't call themselves public servants. We need accountability, integrity, and leadership that actually represents the people, not moneyed interests. If you believe in that mission, please support independent journalism by liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and dropping a blue heart in the comments to show you're with us. As always, thank you for watching. Stay informed, stay active, and don't let anyone silence your voice. Until next time, I will see you soon.